an error in your taxes.
I mean, think about it like this. An amendment is going to take you 12 to 16 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
If they send your tax return in, it's going to take the same amount of time as anybody else is going in.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as they get it, you got 21 days for it to process.
Mm-hmm.
So why would you amend and wait 12 to 16 weeks when you can just do it all at one time?
Okay, excellent. Mm-hmm. So in the last few minutes, we want to talk about car lots that are doing taxes. Have you had any issues? Because a lot of them say, hey, come here. We can get you $6,000, get you approved today, drive away today. You know, explain that process. And do you recommend it?
So when it comes to your refund, your tax preparation, if a tax preparer wants to sit at a car lot and prepare taxes, that's their space. That's it. But when it comes to negotiating the actual money, it has to be done by a bank. It cannot be done by the car lot.
Okay.
And that bank has to be approved through the IRS. So they can put it in there, but that check that comes from the IRS is the taxpayer's check. And the taxpayer can sign off and say, but it has to be done by a bank. A preparer cannot negotiate refund. We cannot negotiate money. We can only prepare taxes. We are not a bank. You're in the business of preparing. They're in the business of dealing with money. Because you know what happens if they let us deal with the money. We're not used to it. There's going to be some problems. We don't know the FART laws. We don't know all the laws about ACH and what you can go to prison for, money laundering, and you know, we don't know that because we're not educated in that area. We're educated in the preparation of it, not the negotiation of the actual refund, the money. So car lots, I wouldn't recommend doing that. You handle your own money. You get your refund and you handle your own money. A couple of years ago, we had, more than a couple of years ago, they did a rebate. Remember they were sending everybody a check, the government was? Well, listen to me. If that should happen again and you went to the car lot, your last tax return, and it went to them, guess where your rebate is going?
Wow. Didn't think about that.
Right. So, and you cannot use a Form 8888 at a car lot for your taxes. You cannot, if that Form 8888 is used, that's to split up that refund. Maybe you want to buy some savings bonds, or maybe you're married and you're your husband, you're going to put some in his and some in yours. That's if you're a joint filer. Only person account number can be on that Form 8888 is the taxpayers.
Okay.
That's it. That's why they set up temporary bank accounts. The bank does. That's what a bank do. I don't know how to do that, but the bank can. They set up temporary bank accounts. Your refund goes to that temporary bank account in your name, not the bank's. But the bank is in control of that account. They remove the preparation fee. And whatever other product you might have bought, and then they give you a check.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. They take out your money and send it to you, and then they leave the rest in the account for the tax preparer. No, the person who filed. Right.
So when you get your papers, there'll be a account number on there, and that's a temporary account, and that account can only last so many months. It goes away. That's a regulation. So that it goes into that account, and then it bounces into maybe your other personal account. But the bank that you're negotiating your refund has access to this account. They don't have access to your account, let's say at Wells Fargo. But that temporary account, they have access to. And by law, they can only take out the fees that you signed off on. And then they forward you on your proceeds to your regular bank account.
Yep. So we have a few more minutes left. Is there anything else that you want people to know in going into this tax season? With the change of laws, we talked about, some things that you can go back and file as far as mortgages are concerned. We explained about dependents. We explained about, filing for your parents. We talked about, what happens if you have identity theft. What are some other things that you want people to be aware of?
And a dependent, for earned income tax purposes, a child for earned income tax purposes look at it as linear. You can claim anybody that came from your mother. If they came from your aunt, you can't claim from as earned income tax. Okay. That's your cousin. That's not your brother, sister, niece, nephew. That's how that works. Okay. So it's linear. Just because your cousin is 6 and they're a child and they live in your house, you cannot get earned income tax from them. It has to be linear to your mother. So always look at your mother. Anybody your mother produced, you know what I'm saying? Which is what, in that line, your brother's son is linear. Your husband's mother children are linear. Those are your in-laws. They're still by law, they're your brothers and sisters. So that's how that works. And be cautious of claiming people with ailments and considered disabled, but it has to be totally and unable to work. That's not a Social Security check. That's a doctor's call. So you can get that from the doctor, and they have to have the same address. So when they ask for this information, tell you need to send us this, you need to send us this. Listen, you need the doctor need to say, hey, he is totally and unable to work for the year of 2012. Let's say 12. Also, his address is 123 ABC Street, has been this address since he's been in my office since. It has to be at least 6 months for that year. So the doctor can cover everything you need in one letter.
Okay.
To get the address and get the residence and the proof of disability.
Okay.
So it can be done in one letter. But so far as relationship, that's a birth certificate.
Okay. All right. So in the last few minutes, we want to talk about what LSE has to offer and how people can contact you, because you could do taxes for people out of state, right?
Right. A CPA is confined to the state. I'm not a CPA. So I can do taxes everywhere. Actually, I have customers that are not even in this country, but they're U.S. citizens. So, and I have clients that are not in this state. So you can do taxes out of this state with your clients, but you must have some kind of footprint. So in other words, may it be electronically. I myself use DocuSign because it's going to GPS that location, and it's going to, it'll give more information than the norm. And also, a lot of times I have a personal relationship with them, so I know it's them. So you can't just Joe Blow call you on the blue. You got to be able to define who that is that you're dealing with and that information that you're receiving, and know the process of how they're receiving it. But yes, you can do taxes for any U.S. citizen that's anywhere, and you can do taxes for them. But you can't get somebody to send you a list and say, do these taxes. That's not what that is.
Yes,
you have to define and have some kind of relationship where or you're going to get in trouble. Because that list, that same baby that was stolen from your taxes could be on that list that they're sending you. So you have to be aware of that. So we provide services all year long, and we are in Office Plaza on the service road in between Honda dealership and Nissan dealership, and directly sharing a driveway with Hertz Rental. That address is 1111 East I-65 Service Road South. It's going to take you over there near the mall, but I'm letting you know where we're physically located.
We're on the south side.
Yes, it's going to take you on the wrong side, so that's why I told you about the car lots. And we're there, and I'm on the second floor. I'm in 212, and I'm here all year long. This is what I do. This is who I am. So I'm here year long, and we also provide consultation. And I would suggest if you have a business, come see me, because sometimes you get mixed up with what people tell you. Let's just go by the rules. Let's go by the regulations, because I'm going to give you the regulation. Won't be what Lorraine said. I'm going to give it to you, so you can carry it away with you, and you can know what your responsibility is. And another thing we have this year, if you do have come into a lump sum of money, you can put those in what they call qualified business funds. In other words, you can buy things and you can defer having to pay taxes on that. So ask your tax preparer about that. So that can be done this year as well.
Okay, so when I win the lottery, I know where to go to make sure that I can keep as. I'm joking.
Yeah. You can defer that.
what all services does LSE offer?
We offer, of course, individual tax preparation, business tax preparation, and we also help you make sure that you know how to let the IRS know how you're going to be disregarded, because it's kind of you thinking LLC, that's a state thing. The IRS needs to know how you're going to be disregarded as a business. So even though you are an LLC, you still have to be disregarded as a S corp, C corp, or a sole proprietor. They need to know. And then if you're a multiple member LLC, your taxpayer has to know that, because there's something else you need to do. It's not just 1040 anymore. There's another form.
We're going to talk about how to set up your business properly in the next segment.
Yes.
So how can people contact you?
You can contact me on my website, and that's lscservices.net. That's www.lscservices.net. And also my phone number, the office phone number is area code 251-202-0497. Again, that's 251-202-0497. And all the time, at any time, I'm on your schedule.
Okay, excellent. Thank you again for being a guest here on the Color Outside the Box podcast. I've learned a lot. I know the audience has learned a lot. Guys, again, if you are in the state of Alabama or in the United States, period, contact LSE. She knows her stuff. Until the next time, I'll see you next week where Miss Lorraine will be back. We're going to be talking about how to set up your business properly. So join us next week, Monday at 7 a.m. on the Color Outside the Box podcast. Have an awesome day. Color Outside the Box is a podcast series that focuses on creating a better you. Whether it's advice about family, relationships, raising children in this technological world, marriage, or careers, we seek to find the answers to help you live your best life. So start your Monday morning off right with me, your hostess with the mostest, Princess Miller, on Color Outside the Box right here on iTunes and everywhere podcasts can be heard.